This is only the beginning. Dune Part 1 was written and directed by Denis Villeneuve, a critically acclaimed director whose previous work includes films like Cesario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, and more, and was written by two different people. One of the writers, John Spahts, I hope I pronounced that name correctly, it's spelled S-P-A-I-H-T-S. It's really goddamn weird, but nevertheless, he did films like The Darkest Hour, that had a great idea and poor execution. Also, he did Prometheus, that was kind of a divisive film, shall we say. Passengers, no, they're not the passengers that ride and ride and ride. This was the Passengers movie that had Jennifer Lawrence in it, and was certainly well above No Hard Feelings. It was not very good. That has nothing to do with this movie, but I just wanted to shout down No Hard Feelings because it was really terrible. But he also did films like Doctor Strange and the 2017 version of The Mummy with Tom Cruise fighting a mummy in a movie called The Mummy. How goddamn weird is that? A movie so catastrophically inept, it killed the Dark Universe plans of Universal. It was really, really bad. I need to go back and review that at some point because, oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, Eric Roth was one of the other writers. He did The Postman, Oh, Mr. Postman, Kevin Costner's Passion Project. Forrest Gump, which was pretty good. Yeah, is a little bit weird, but at least you had Tom Hanks and other good performances. And Robin Wright being a full-on bitch in that. I will constantly shout down her character. Ali, that had a great performance by Will Smith and not much else. Munich, that was tough to watch. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, that was a very strange movie. A Star is Born, one of the remakes of it, the most recent remake that is, and Killers of the Flower Moon. So a lot of critically acclaimed stuff. And also The Mummy 2017. And some movies I liked, some movies that I thought were technically well made, technically well acted, and really just bored the tits off of me. Oh wait, Killers of the Flower Moon would pretty much just be the only one of those. You can check out my review of that. Also, check me out on Letterboxd. I write written stuff here as opposed to audio stuff on a writing website. So this is based on a novel by Frank Herbert. A cult classic novel, shall we say, one that people loved, and so many people loved it that back in 1984, David Lynch did a version of this. Well, it got released in 1984. I assume it wasn't filmed in a few weeks, given the special effects and the amount of, great set pieces, and the fact that it was a David Lynch movie, so naturally it had to take some time. If you know anything about David Lynch, he's certainly weird. Very, very weird, but he has a lot of respect among, well, some people. Certain subsection of movie fans, and he certainly puts his own spin on stuff. Yeah, his version of Dune basically just kind of the studio didn't get their money back. It wasn't really it was kind of critically acclaimed to an extent. Fans like it. They've grown to appreciate it. And there have been various versions, some that has had added footage, some that had like tweaks to it. So we probably got the most complete version of it after so many years. I've seen that. It was fine. I didn't necessarily think that it was great. I didn't think it was terrible. And I have no love or, major, investment digging my claws into the lore of Dune. And the fact that basically this movie got released while theaters were opening back up, but this is when Warner Bros. Decided to take their movies, put them in theaters, and also put them on HBO Max, now Max. And this is one of the ones I didn't get around to, but because so many people asked me to watch Dune Part 2 that's coming out just a little bit after this, I decided, fine, I will sit down, I will watch this just as a movie, and I will give it a shot. So I want to talk about the cast before I talk about my opinions on the movie. You have Timothée Chalamet, who was most recently in Wonka. That was certainly a movie. Rebecca Ferguson, who just is gorgeous, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. She was in Doctor Sleep. You have Oscar Isaac, another space, epic here. He can never get away from them. You have Zendaya. I'm just going to say right now, I don't get the appeal of Zendaya as an actress. Maybe I need to see more of her stuff. I'm going to see that Challengers movie that she's in. She's fine, I guess. She's a pretty face. I see why people like her. Jason Momoa. Maybe somebody had to drink some mimosas to get through this. Stellan Skarsgård, who's a great actor and was also doing his best Marlon Brando impression here. You have Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista. Yeah, the man that used to walk alone inside this pit of danger And then, no one walks to him, he walks alone. Did I screw up the lyrics? Probably. And Sharon Duncan Brewster, no relation to Punky Brewster. So, set in the year 10,191, 10191. So I guess we have some time before we get to that. I don't think any of us are going to live long enough for that unless the device gets complete. Or completed, that is. And basically, there's a battle in the galaxy for this spice. This spice that has these properties that can basically give you a heightened sense of awareness. It can give you great vitality. It can do a lot of great things for you. And also, apparently, if you stop using it, you die. I guess? Maybe? The movie's a little bit unclear about some of that stuff, but then again, spacey stuff and cool landscapes. And one thing I will say about this movie, it has great cinematography. It has a really good cast. There's a lot of good stuff to appreciate from a technical standpoint. Denis Villeneuve does a good job as far as the technical wizardry. He understands how to frame shots. He understands how to do stuff and have the right crew to work with him on this stuff. And the movie had a $165 million budget. $41 million opening, and considering the theaters were just getting back to really being more open, that's pretty goddamn impressive. It did only haul in about $108 million at the domestic box office, but $433.7 million worldwide. And considering, again, the pandemic was just starting to, really subside to an extent, and people were going back into the theaters, that's a pretty good haul. So we'll see how Dune Part 2 does, considering that, it was... considering when this one came out and the hype around this one. So, how did I feel about the movie? It's fine. It's fine. I didn't really care about a lot of the characters. It seemed like some of the people were kind of sleepwalking through their goddamn roles. I feel that there were about 30 to 35 minutes of this movie that could have just been cut. They could have cut some of the slow-mo. They could have cut certain scenes. Yes, there were cool landscapes and cool shots. And the ships, that kind of looked like bugs and everything, like dragonflies that are bugs, by the way, just in case you're not really familiar. It looks technically impressive. It just feels very hollow. Now, granted, again, I am not deep into the novel. I've never read the novel, so I don't know how close this is to it. I just went in expecting something that might be mildly entertaining with a bit of a deep narrative. And, you have these people that live in the... that live on this sand planet. There are names of these planets, by the way, that I will get to, but led by Javier Bardem, and also Zendaya's there. And then you have this race of bald people led by Stellan Skarsgård, and Dave Bautista's there shouting. I'm amazed that people, were surprised by how great of an actor Bautista has turned out to be. I knew that he had the emotional depth to pull it off because I saw him in WWE for years and years. Despite all the injuries, the man proved himself. And proved himself to be the best part of some really bad movies like Knock at the Cabin. Bautista is he's a more than capable actor. And Timothée Chalamet has had good roles, Bones and all. That's pretty much the one that stands out right there. And yeah, it was nice to look at, and it was fancy. I didn't give a shit about any of these people dying. Some of the fight scenes were okay, but a lot of it was just set up, and that's all right. Watching it with Dune Part 2 probably would be better, but that would be taking about almost 6 hours of your life to get through that. So that's why I decided to break it up a bit and watch it here. Yeah, you get the Atreides. Watch the Atreides. They're the powerful family led by Oscar Isaac. And Rebecca Ferguson, who he wishes that he had married. Yeah, you'd want to wife up somebody like her. And Paul is not Paul anymore. He's Super Paul. Shout out to MST3K fans. Timothée Chalamet has dreams to do what he wants any old time. These dreams are telling him that there's more out there. There's something out there, defying gravity, as it were. And that maybe he's meant to do more than just what maybe he's meant for more than this. There's got to be a morning after. And he basically is doing, he's just trying to figure out these dreams. He's trying to honor his family, but he also wants to do more. And also, it turns out there's betrayal, because of course there is. The thing is all this is handled with the with just not. It's not even that it's not handled with care. It's just you don't really give a shit what characters live or die. I mean, I'm sorry, I just did not find any emotional like attachment to these characters, and that's where the movie misses a whole goddamn mark. I did like the Sandstorm part, Deep Hurting, another MST3K reference, and the Mighty Sandworm. Again, looks cool. That's really about it. I am going to get into spoilers. This is on Max currently. If you have not seen part 1, you're probably going to be lost for part 2. I'm going to get into spoilers, though, to talk about some of the stuff. 1, 2, 3, spoilers. So there we go. The drug kind of reminded me of cinnamon. They're fighting over cinnamon. They are fighting over shampoo. And they want to bring peace to Arrakis, which is the sand planet. Paul keeps having these dreams. Dreams make good stories, but everything important happens when you're awake. Sure, Jason Momoa. Sure, of course. The man doesn't know how to hold on to a good woman, by the way. Just want to say that. And great panning shots. Cool wizardry. This cinnamon is basically a drug, melange. Or melange, or however the hell you say it. And, yeah, then we get the race of bald people. The Harkonnens? The Harkonnens? Whatever. I don't care. I know it sounds like I'm just kind of shitting all over the movie. It's not that. It's just these are stupid names. I'm sorry, they're stupid names. Batista acting his ass off here, yelling a few times. Old lady wants Timothy Chalamet to kneel in front of her. Put your hand in the box. And also, I have a dart at your throat. And if you try to get your hand out of the box before I figure out your dreams or whatever, then there you go. This is the way. No, I don't want the Mandalorian influence here. I did kind of like the one party line she had. Goodbye, human. I hope you live. That is exactly the type of advice that we got before they opened the doors at Kohl's and the movie theater on Black Friday. You don't believe me? Well, you don't actually know if I'm telling the truth or not, if I'm saying a funny joke. I did kind of find it funny that there was a meeting between these factions and there were bagpipes of the future. So in the year 10191, they still have bagpipes. The Ghost of Roddy Piper would be very happy about that and would also play it. And the seats in the futuristic LA Memorial Auditorium would come flying off and the night would never get started. Yeah. Paul basically was created to be the one. Not the Jet Li version, but because they carefully crossed the bloodlines. No, acknowledge me. Watch too much wrestling. I should be careful. And yeah, there were space pyramids in space. There's a crystal knife. Yeah, if I go crazy, then will you so call me futuristic Superman? Maybe I shouldn't reference Three Doors Down. And yeah, there's a mechanical bug, a space hunter that some bald guy did. You know, he did this stuff because they were trying to kill the bloodline. Acknowledge him. They're trying to kill Paul to stop this whole thing because I guess Oscar Isaac can't father any more children. And this reminded me of like the massive setup for Suikoden 5, where it just took a while and then shit finally happened, and then the RTs got besieged, destroyed, kinda. Jason Momoa lived somehow and then died later. Impressive set pieces, really impressive set pieces. I just wish more shit was going on. I understand setup, but Jesus fucking Christ, this was 2.5 hours of not much. And, yeah, then basically shit gets blown up. All this bad stuff's going on. Paul basically saw a girl played by Zendaya who kills him, maybe, or not. We don't really know. We don't really care. Or at least I don't care. And they were besieged by the bald, this doctor, Dr. Yu, or Yue, or however you say it, wanted to save his wife that the bald people had. Look, Vegeta, more bald people. And he hands the Duke a tooth that will release a poison and kill all of them. So he wants to save his wife, and he's sacrificing the Duke. But I still want you to kill these guys that have my wife. Okay. How you gonna get your wife then, bud? So anyway, Then they get separated. Rebecca Ferguson and Paul end up trapped in the sand in this ship. So, the Baron, by the way, Stellan Skarsgård floating around doing his best Marlon Brando impression was rather amusing. He kills the doctor. Yeah, you can join your wife. So, haha, I got what I wanted. I'm going to kill you. But then, Duke bites down on the tooth. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. And here I remain. Yeah, yeah. Then he breathes the poison dust and kills everybody. Seemingly, except the Baron isn't dead. And then Paul's having these dreams. They keep frightening him. And Paul's losing it. There's a giant ear mouse that was sadly the most fleshed out character in the movie. And then we get the era of Imperium. Another wrestling reference. Good God, I need to stop referencing wrestling so much. And then Sharon Duncan Brewster's character gets a little bit more time to act. I mean, she's not a bad actress. She's just not given much of anything to say. She almost gets killed, and then the mighty sandworm kills the people that were trying to kill her. More sandstorms and deep hurting. The Baron isn't dead, by the way. He has to be resurrected. I did not want to see a bloated, naked Stellan Skarsgård. Thanks, movie. Thanks. Thanks, Denis Villeneuve. Thank you. So anyway, we get piloting done straight out of the JFK Jr. or Helicopter for Kobe. We get straight out of that and crash. Except people lived in this one. And then they must band together and fight back. And basically Javier Bardem is like, hey, wait a second, I know this kid. He's cool. The mother can't fight. Then the mother almost kills him. Good judge of character there. And then he meets Zendaya, and then he has a fight with the guy. And then they're going to band together and they're going to do stuff. He wants to kill the Emperor or mate with him. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care at this point. See, this movie caused me to check out pretty quickly. So, yeah. If you're a fan of Dune, tell me if there's any emotional depth that I missed. Please. It gets a C+ for the technical work. It's just not very interesting. Let's hope part 2 is better. Please be better. Agree, disagree what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.